92.4 FM.
ঘড়ির সময় বলছে এক্স্যাক্টলি 5টা বেজে গেছে আজ সোমবার 22 অক্টোবর 2018 সাল Yes, and you're listening to your favorite radio station in the whole goddamn city. It has to be Radio Shadhin 92.4 FM. আমার শো শুরু হয়ে গেছে. It's time for some bombastic with me, Syeda. Well, today it's not going to be just me. It's never just me. It's so much more. There's so much music, there are interesting guests, there's so much to talk about, so much to feel entertained by and be happy about, so much to catch up on. But শুরুতে, if you feel like আপনার লাইফে you don't really belong anywhere right now and you would like to be, part of something bigger, better, something that would, I don't know, trigger a bit of active energy from within you, তাহলে আপনাকে জানিয়ে দিতে চাই যে চলছে কিন্তু নর্থ সাউথ বিশ্ববিদ্যালয় সোশ্যাল সার্ভিসেস ক্লাব আয়োজিত সামাজিক সচেতনতা বুদ্ধিমূলক প্রতিযোগিতা এনার্জি প্যাক গ্রিন সলিউশন প্রেজেন্টস সোশিও ক্যাম্প 9 এর রেজিস্ট্রেশন চলবে 25 অক্টোবর পর্যন্ত রেজিস্ট্রেশনের জন্য ভিজিট করুন www.nsussc.org. অন দ্যাট নোট শুরুতেই সকলকে জানিয়ে দিতে চাই যে বোম্বাস্টিকের আমাদের ফার্স্ট আওয়ার আজকে স্বাধীন ট্রিপল ওয়ামি শুনে এসে আমরা we're going to be dedicating it to none other than one of our very own, one of our very dear, yes, UN Women. UN Women থেকে খুব বিশেষ দুজন গেস্ট আসেন আমার সাথে and they're going to be talking about a lot. They're going to be talking about a lot of things, starting from social discrimination against women and how they believe women can empower themselves. But বিশেষ করে যে বিষয় নিয়ে তারা কথা বলবেন সেটা হচ্ছে তাদের HeForShe ক্যাম্পেইনের একটা বিশেষ অংশ যে অংশে আপনি পার্টিসিপেট করছেন এই মুহূর্তে ইয়েস দি এসএ কম্পিটিশন রেহান এবং জুলির গল্প কমপ্লিট করার যে দায়িত্বটা আপনাকে দেওয়া হয়েছে সেই বিষয়ে আপনাকে আরও ফার্দার ডিটেলসে তারা জানাবে আমি জানাবো তবে ওয়ান মোর টাইম আই থিঙ্ক আপনার জানা উচিত যারা এখনও হয়তো শোনেননি অথবা সুযোগ পাননি গল্পটি কমপ্লিট করবার শুরুর অংশটি আপনাকে শুনিয়ে দিই রেহান এবং জুলি তারা দুই ভাই বোন ছোটবেলা থেকেই তারা একসাথে সব কিছু করে আসছে কিন্তু বড় হবার পর রেহানের ইঞ্জিনিয়ার হবার ইচ্ছা খুব খুশি মনে মেনে নিলেও জুলির পাইলট হবার স্বপ্ন পূরণে বাধা দেয় পরিবার সে সময় প্রিয় ভাই বোন রেহান এসে জুলির পাশে দাঁড়ায় এবং তাকে সহযোগিতা করতে চায় এখন রেহান কিভাবে জুলিকে সহযোগিতা করতে পারে সেই কথাগুলোই বলতে হবে আপনাকে ইফ ইউর ইনটু ক্রিয়েটিভ রাইটিং অ্যান্ড ইফ ইউ থিঙ্ক দ্যাট দ্য সোশ্যাল স্ট্রাকচার for and against women right now needs some restructuring তাহলে this is your chance because UN Women এর সহযোগিতায় রেডিও স্বাধীন আয়োজন করেছে রচনা লেখার প্রতিযোগিতা 2018 সাল সর্বোচ্চ 1200 শব্দের মধ্যে আপনিও লিখে পাঠান কিভাবে ও কি উপায়ে জুলির পাইলট হবার স্বপ্ন বাস্তবে রূপ নেবে bitbit.ly/UNWomenSA2018 এই লিঙ্কে গিয়ে প্রথমে ফর্ম পূরণ করুন এরপর আপনার লেখা রচনা সংযুক্ত করে পাঠিয়ে দিন এবং পুরস্কার হিসেবে নট জাস্ট এনি অ্যামাউন্ট 50,000 ইয়েস 50,000 টাকা জিতে নেবার এটাই আপনার সুযোগ বাংলা অথবা ইংরেজি দুভাষাতেই আপনি রচনা লিখতে পারছেন মনে রাখতে হবে এই প্রতিযোগিতা শুধুই ছেলেদের জন্য from the whole women's empowerment angle you might wonder why female, why should the women be deprived? Why don't they get to write their stories? Well, we'll get into all those details once I have my guests on board with me. But for now, আরও জানতে ভিজিট করুন রেডিও স্বাধীনের অফিসিয়াল ফেসবুক ফ্যান পেজ এবং আমি গেস্টদেরকে স্বাধীন ট্রিপল ওয়ামি থেকে ফিরে এসে আপনাদের সবার সাথে পরিচয় করিয়ে দিচ্ছি ইটস গোয়িং টু বি ওয়ান হেল অফ অ্যান আওয়ার সো লেটস গুড থিংস কাম ইন স্মল প্যাকেজেস এবং ধৈর্য ধরে অপেক্ষা করতে হয় for all the very best gifts of life. Right now, your very best gift is 5 to 6 on 92.4. Stay tuned. শুনতে থাকুন রেডিও স্বাধীন এবার আমরা শুনবো স্বাধীন ট্রিপল ওয়ামি
স্বাধীন ট্রিপল ওয়ামি তিনটি জোস
জি হ্যাঁ চলছে আমার শো বোম্বাস্টিক only on Radio Shadhin 92.4 FM. আমি সাজেদা আছি but I am not alone. I am never alone. Yes, I'm always surrounded by very special people. It happens to be one of they call it a professional hazard. It's not hazardous. In fact, it's one of the professional privileges I have. And today it's none other than two very dedicated people who have looked at the bigger picture, the greater good, and dedicated their lives to it. They're working for it on a day-to-day basis. And right now, the picture seems to be something that needs to be in favor of women and their empowerment and how to, treat them as equal to men who happen to be the other half of the species. Yes, I would like to introduce to all of you Shoko Ishikawa, country representative of UN Women, and Syeda Samara Mortada, communications analyst, UN Women. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Hello.
So, what's up? How's your day?
Good.
Just good?
Yeah.
Your days should be great. We come to work, we make money, we go back home. But for you, work is all about the world, about people, about, about a brighter future, about a better world.
Yeah.
You must feel very fulfilled every day.
It's a very rewarding job, and to be able to talk about it with you today, I think it's wonderful. Thanks.
Well, I'm sure it's pretty wonderful, but is it all that rewarding? Because given that we're talking about the social perspective here in the country right now, we're not just talking about the world as a, from a macro perspective. It's about Bangladesh and how women here are still not treated as the equal gender. So you have a campaign, HeForShe, right,
Yes,
Samara?
yes, we do. Yeah.
In fact, I would like to know from both of you, how did you guys come up with the whole concept? I mean, HeForShe ব্যাপারটা কি? I mean, because HeForShe campaignery একটা বিশেষ part হচ্ছে the whole essay writing competition. I mean, what is it supposed to achieve? I mean, what does HeForShe signify?
Right. So actually, today is my opportunity to learn more about HeForShe as well, which is why I'm here. I myself have a lot of questions for Shoko. So globally, I would myself be interested in knowing how HeForShe started off as. And the name in itself, I think it's very debatable. I have been asked a lot of times why it's called HeForShe. So maybe we can both learn more from Shoko, ask her why HeForShe is the name.
You ask her. You're supposed to be making my job easier today, remember?
Yes, I'll try doing that. So yes, so Shoko, can you tell us how HeForShe, the name itself, came about? What was the reason behind this name?
So HeForShe is a global movement that UN Women has spearheaded, and it started 2 years ago, just about 2 years ago, September of 2019. And you might know there was
September 2000?
2016, sorry.
16,
yeah, 16.
yes.
Sorry about that. And there was a famous speech that Emma Watson made, the Hermione from...
Hermione Granger.
What's that? Yeah,
of
exactly.
course I know
Yes,
Hermione
yes, yes.
Granger. Oh my God, Hermione
yes,
Granger.
she's our Goodwill Ambassador on HeForShe. And so it was a call for action for men to stand for gender equality. And because we were asking for men to take action, that's the he. And because it's on gender equality, it's the she. It is debatable. I think it's more about, how do we turn masculinity to look at the other rest of the genders.
Exactly, because since it's women seeking for their own rights, what role do men have to play here?
Sure, but the environment is created, has been dominated by men. And men have been the decision makers for a long time in history. And so the society itself is structured in a way that how men have been thinking. And that's how we have to try and change this concept of what a man is, what a woman is, what is the proper way for a woman to behave, what is a proper way for a man to behave. That sort of stereotypes that have been created by the thoughts of the men of how the world should work, that has to be changed, and more women's voices have to come up. It is indeed women who have to speak up. And that's what we've been doing, We've been doing it since the time where women had asked for voting rights, women had asked for sexual rights, reproductive rights. It's been done. But the realization is that this is about a relationship between men and women, right? So we can't forever just be talking
they're
women
the other
to women.
half of the equation.
Yeah, exactly. So if we can't change the mindset of the other half, it's very difficult. And we need that conversation to actually start from within men themselves also, about how can they make a change, how can they make a difference.
Can you tell us globally, can you give us some examples of what's being done by UN Women or by other organizations, other UN agencies to start these conversations, what men are doing or how UN Women or other agencies are kind of breaking the stereotypes and working towards gender equality? Like what has been done differently, what's working and what's not?
So the movement is for anybody and everybody. And so little steps have been taken from little schoolboys that heard about the HeForShe movement and actually has taken it to their school to start some activities around trying to make people understand, their classmates understand, that boys and girls could do the same things. They should be able to play sports equally. And so there's no real prescription to it. It's about the men and boys starting to try and understand where there is discrimination in the society and trying to change things from around. So we've been working from, all the way from heads of states, from prime ministers and presidents, that in their power, they actually can change policies, right?
Yes.
It's not, for them, it's not about what they do at home, how they treat their wives differently.
Sure.
But at that level, we actually need commitment from the policymakers about how differently they're going to maybe pass a new law where the countries, for example, Malawi in Africa, they have a terrible problem with child marriage. And the head of state of Malawi said that this cannot be tolerated anymore, and therefore he had set out a policy to ban child marriage. And then there are countries that have said, okay, we are going to invest more in services for ending violence against women. So policy level changes we're aiming for people that could do that. We're also reaching out to CEOs of companies. We have multinationals that we are partnering in, and we're calling them our HeForShe champions in the corporate world. And for them, it's about how do they treat the women in their companies? Are they giving the female staff enough opportunity for promotion? Are they just selecting the men because they don't have the household responsibility? They can go off on more on training, so they have more opportunities for promotion. Are they actually thinking about making the workplace more friendly for women by putting childcare centers in?
লিসনারদেরকে জানিয়ে দিতে চাই যে আমাদের যেহেতু এই মুহূর্তে উইমেন্স এম্পাওয়ারমেন্ট এবং ইউএন উইমেনের বাংলাদেশের HeForShe ক্যাম্পেইন নিয়ে কথা চলছিল, ইফ ইউ হ্যাভ এনি কোয়ারিজ, এনি কোয়েশ্চেন্স, if there's any particular piece of information that you would like to be enlightened over, if there's something that you want to know, all you have to do is write to us. আমাদেরকে SMS করুন। SMS করবার জন্য মোবাইলে মেসেজিং অপশনে গিয়ে টাইপ করুন RS স্পেস আপনার নাম স্পেস আপনি যা লিখে পাঠাতে চাচ্ছেন সেটা লিখে পাঠিয়ে দিন আমাদেরকে 22010 এই নম্বরে। Alright, yes, Shoko, you were saying.
Yeah, CEOs of big companies have declared that they are HeForShes, and they are putting new training programs in place so that the employees have an opportunity to understand what their own biases are that are being then portrayed into how meetings are run in their conference rooms. Look at where the women are sitting in those conference rooms. A lot of times, the female employees are taking
mostly
a second row. Yeah. And when they are asked for opinions, they are hesitant to speak up because women have not been given that opportunity. But deliberately, you can go around the room and give that opportunity to the female employee. So the mindset change of the male manager is needed to make an environment where women can excel in the workplace also.
Since we were talking about how we were trying to change perspectives of men who tend to hold large positions in large companies and are opinion leaders in their fields, since I'm sure there are male employees in UN Women as well.
Yes, there are.
Since it is a HeForShe campaign, I don't know. I'm just thinking from the perspective of a regular person, of a regular woman myself. All these very things that you just talked about, doesn't it come across much stronger if it actually came from a guy who's one of you?
Yeah.
I mean, as opposed to a Shoko Ishikawa, maybe a Shoko Ishikawa.
Absolutely. And Samara can talk about what we're doing on that.
Yes. So basically, one of the things we're doing right now is the contest with you. With Radio Shadhin. So for that one, we're inviting men to participate, young boys, youth, to finish a story. It's a gendered story.
Right.
So there's a male character and a female character, and there are things that the girl cannot do as opposed to her brother.
Right.
So we are inviting people to participate in this contest and put themselves in the brother's shoes and say how they would support Julie, who's the female character of the story,
right,
to fulfill her dreams.
Right.
So the story is left, the second half is left blank for people to fill up. So whoever wins this contest is going to get 50,000 taka, as you said, and they can make videos out of their solutions that they propose, and they can propose advocacy measures that they will take to end gender equality.
I mean, the funny part is how in the process of trying to send that message that you guys need to, play your part in the whole picture of female empowerment, how we're in a position where we're having to discriminate women from participating.
Yes. Well, the actual idea was not to discriminate women themselves,
I get it.
but for men to come forward and take up this fight, because gender equality is not just about women. gender equality benefits everybody. That's the message we want to give across, and that men have a huge role to play in it. Of course, women are coming forward, women need to come forward, but men need to step up as well. So that's the message we want to send across.
All right, lovely. How about we take a short commercial break and then we're going to be back?
Sure.
All right, শুনছিলেন রেডিও স্বাধীন 92.4 FM. আমার সাথে রয়েছেন Shoko Ishikawa, country representative, UN Women, and Syeda Samara Mortada, communications analyst from UN Women. ওনাদের সাথে আমাদের কনভারসেশন আমরা কন্টিনিউ করব, তবে আগে আমরা বিজ্ঞাপন বিরতি থেকে ফিরে আসি, তারপরে এই বিষয়ে আরও কথা হবে, আরও আলাপ হবে। শুনতে থাকুন স্বাধীন, চলছে বোম্বাস্টিক। জি হ্যাঁ, চলছে বোম্বাস্টিক অন রেডিও স্বাধীন 92.4 FM। আমি সাজিদা আছি, চলছে বোম্বাস্টিক, এবং আজকের আমার এই স্পেশাল সেগমেন্টে রয়েছেন ইউএন উইমেন থেকে টু ভেরি স্পেশাল ইয়াং লেডিজ। ইয়েস, আই উড লাইক টু কল দেম ইয়াং লেডিজ। ইউ হ্যাভ নো আইডিয়া হাউ গুড লুকিং both of them are. One's more Bengali than either one of the two Bengalis are in the room. I love your kameez, by the way. You have to tell me where you got it from. Yes, introducing you all once again with to Shoko Ishikawa. I'm so sorry if I'm not being able to get your name right.
You're doing it right.
Thank you
You're
so
doing
much.
it better than most people.
Thank you so much. I'm trying my best. And just Samara. Just Samara. Yes, আমরা কনভারসেশনে ফার্দার আগানোর আগে আপনাদের সকলকে একটা বিশেষ তথ্য জানাতে চাই, স্পেশালি আমাদের বাংলাদেশের নাম্বার 1 নেটওয়ার্ক যারা ব্যবহার করেন, ইয়েস আর গ্রামীণ ফোন ইউজার্স। গ্রামীণ ফোনের গ্রাহকদের জন্য এখন দারুণ একটা খবর, 7 কোটির পরিবারে 097, জি হ্যাঁ 97 এর পাশাপাশি গ্রামীণ ফোন নিয়ে এলো নতুন নাম্বার সিরিজ 093। অ্যাকচুয়ালি আমি আরেকবার ব্যাপারটা বলতে চাই, বিকজ আমি বাংলা এবং ইংরেজির মধ্যে গন্ডগোল করে নাম্বারটা একেবারেই ভুল বলেছি। সো আই এম গোইং টু স্টার্ট ফ্রম দ্য টপ। বাংলাদেশের নাম্বার 1 নেটওয়ার্ক গ্রামীণ ফোনের গ্রাহকদের জন্য দারুণ যে খবরটা, সেটা হচ্ছে 7 কোটির পরিবারে 017 পাশাপাশি গ্রামীণ ফোন নিয়ে এলো নতুন নাম্বার সিরিজ 013। অলরাইট, সো দ্যাটস উইচ ডেফিনেটলি মিনস এখন সাবস্ক্রাইবার্স বাড়বেই স্বাভাবিক, বিকজ আফটার অল দিস ইজ দ্য নাম্বার 1 নেটওয়ার্ক ইন দ্য কান্ট্রি রাইট নাও। বাট সেলফোনস নিয়ে তো সারাক্ষণ ব্যস্ত থাকি। সেলফোনস আমাদেরকে অনেক সার্ভিস প্রোভাইড করে, মেয়েদেরকে ছেলেদেরকে ইকুয়ালি প্রোভাইড করে, কিন্তু ছেলেরা সামহাও মেয়েদেরকে ইকুয়াল ট্রিটমেন্টটা, যেই ট্রিটমেন্টটা সে তার সেলফোনকে দিচ্ছে, তার চেয়ে বেটার ট্রিটমেন্ট বোধহয় দিতে পারা উচিত। বাট সামটাইমস উইমেন ডু গেট ট্রিটেড ওয়ার্স দ্যান অবজেক্টস, স্পেশালি ইন দিস কান্ট্রি। সো we have a question from a listener. The question is, if I roughly translate it, since the first half of the story that we've provided for the essay competition does say that there's a brother and a sister, and the sister's career choices are not being accepted as welcomingly in the family as the brothers, what he's basically trying to say is that men face the same obstacles as well. When boys graduate high schools and move into universities, it's not that they don't. And when they do, they go ahead and make their own choices, they take their own paths, and they don't go around seeking help from any other family or from members or friends, male or female. In this case, by saying that Julie, the character in the story, that the fact that she needs, she's looking for, or that we're expecting people to complete the story from an angle where Rehan's going to do something in order to help her. By saying that she needs help, isn't it discriminating her in the first place?
No, I don't think so. She has a voice. She has a voice, and I think she's been trying to say that I want to be, was it a pilot, right?
Yes.
She wants to be a pilot, right? But that is hitting against a huge wall of women not being seen as material to become pilots, right? You're brought up being seen that women are going to be doing more domestic work, you're going to be a wife, you don't do heavy sort of machinery work.
But isn't it said that, at least as far as parents are concerned, to parents, children are children. They're all equally loved. Would you say even parents discriminate between the girl child and the boy child?
In fact, they do, right? Because the parents want to have the daughter to have a good marriage, to have a good life, and whatever that. I think in this particular story, the parents' idea is that the girl should not be doing a job that is not considered a female job, right? That's the storyline. And so for me, it's why shouldn't the brother speak up? If he agrees to it, particularly if he agrees that his sister deserves a chance and has a talent for it, then why not speak up in support of it? The odds against the girl is much stronger, right? Because society expects a certain kind of behavior from a girl. And therefore, if the man can also speak in support, it could change the tide if the man believes in that too. But so far, that doesn't happen. The man thinks that, okay, the women speak up on their own, But we're at a point that we need that push. Because unfortunately, the women's voice still is weaker in society. You see these things, women ask for help. You women say that they have been raped and they are not believed. They are asked, well, why were you there at that time? What were you wearing?
Yeah,
so there's
exactly.
always that
You must
turning
have
that
done
narrative.
something, yeah.
Exactly. It's turning that narrative against a girl saying, well, you're not trying hard enough. You were in the wrong place. So we need to turn that narrative around. And we need a supportive voice, a male voice that will say, okay, well, if we're talking about these career choices, well, why not a girl become a pilot? That's fine, right? That's what we're looking
Right.
for.
I mean, although it's a very strong statement to make, I think it's high time women, go ahead and, place men in that same place where I found somebody really sexually appealing. Just go ahead and start raping men. I mean, they need to know what it's like to be on the other end. I mean, it's really difficult for girls to be raised in this society where we're supposed to be married at the end of the day and have children. I'm sure you were raised among men as well, yourself.
I have sisters. I have no brothers.
That's
But amongst, yes, of course, we all grow up.
We all
yeah,
grow up.
amongst, yes.
So, you just moved into Bangladesh. I would like to know, what the scenario is like where you come from in Japan. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's such an empowered society altogether.
I wouldn't say so. We're actually quite bad in terms of indicators when it comes to gender equality.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Political participation, like women in the parliament. Okay, so we have a new cabinet. I forgot how many people are in the cabinet, but there's just one female minister, and that's it. And we really haven't gone beyond maybe tops 2, 3 ministers, and that's been it. And also the number of women in political positions are very few. Women in managerial positions in private sector also not that great. And no country in the world has really achieved gender equality, right?
Right.
But Bangladesh is doing pretty well in terms of indicators, right? But the real picture is quite different. So
Yeah. 34% of women in the workforce is not really a high number if you look at it globally.
True.
Yeah. And the fact that even these women that are in the workforce are paid much, much less than men.
Everyone's paid less. I mean, there again,
How should
that's
that be?
another,
How
that's a
could that
matter
be
of-
justified?
Exactly. Again, I mean, it's very sad that we have to talk about women's rights as women's rights altogether because it should be a part of human rights.
Yeah.
Women are as much people as men are.
Yep.
They're the other half of the human race. So,
But the fact that we have to talk about it shows what
Yeah,
it's like, what
exactly,
the reality
what
is
the
like,
reality is
how
like.
far behind we still are.
all right, another question that we have from another listener is, this is from another young girl. She wants to know that how do we, these brothers that they grow up with, these brothers are raised by the very same father in that family. How do they expect the brothers to turn out differently from the father and feel differently and as a result speak out in favor of the sister in a situation like this? It's not a scenario that's very likely.
I think if you think about generations, it's slowly changing. We have a lot more exposure. This generation has a lot more exposure, has a lot different opportunities compared to our previous generations.
Right.
So, behaviors change. We're exposed to so much more. We're global.
Right.
Of course, if the girl has, as compared to our mothers or grandmothers, I think women are more career-oriented than before. So if that's happening, obviously the men in the same families, they're also looking at the world differently.
Right.
So they are supposed to be standing up for gender equality. It's not just about helping girls or helping women, because that's not what we want. We want a gender-friendly society where
Right.
everyone lives in harmony. So
Right.
that benefits themselves. It's not about giving them something to stand up for gender equality. It's
Exactly.
about
It's not
how
a- it's
you
not a
can live
gift.
together. It's not.
It's not a gift. It's my basic right.
Exactly.
Yes, we were, and it's something else that I was personally curious about. That is, this whole essay competition, this is targeting more of the urban crowd, the educated middle class and above. On ground, what is UN Women doing in Bangladesh in association with the HeForShe campaign?
We're actually bringing it to rural communities and integrating it into the work that we do with local governments. And for example, we have a program where we're trying to make sure that women who are trying to become entrepreneurs can get support from the local government in terms of training services or financing services. And for that, we actually have to change the mindset of the government officials on the ground. And for that, we're using HeForShe. We're trying to ask them to be a HeForShe and look at what the needs of women are, women entrepreneurs are, where the blockage is, and what is the role that they could play as a local official in terms of trying to change the way that the local government plans, local government allocates budgets, and change the services for women. So we're actually integrating it into our programs like that. We're also working with universities a lot. The university is a big target group for us. So I think we're working with about five universities around the country and trying to address sexual harassment on campuses. And within that also, we're reaching out to the male university students to start a HeForShe campaign on their campus, so that they will be supporting women trying to speak up, trying to get justice on campus, and also creating awareness among the male students on campus.
I have a question.
Yes.
I wanted to ask Shoko, in terms of, you spoke about Malawi and how child marriage was an issue here. So if you think about Bangladesh, what are some of the issues related to gender that needs to be targeted that we might be working on now or we plan to work on in the future? But like child marriage is an issue here as well. But apart from that, can you name some?
I think we want to be working with the labor market, the employment. Right now, I think the RMG sector has done a really, it's been a great opportunity for women to come out from the households and be more part of the economy. But we need to create or break down the barriers for women to engage in much more many sectors. I think the RMG has been just the one very extraordinary sector that women have been able to participate, but the other sectors are very few. Service industry, for example, for me, it's very sad when I walk into a hotel, into a restaurant, and see hardly any women working in the service industry. In other countries, service industry is actually where women find the opportunity a lot. I know it's cultural barriers, but I think those are the kind of things, as Samara was saying, things could change over time, right? So we need to find different segments of the labor market where women can get into. And for that, again, we need HeForShe, the company champions, the company male leaders that say, yes, we're going to open up much more employment opportunities in diverse sectors for women.
What about unpaid care work? I heard that was an area that was, for some time that has been in discussion and how that needs to be included in GDP as well.
Yeah.
Has there been any progress in that regard?
I think a lot of talk has been, and there's even study that has been done in terms of the balance or the imbalance between how much work women take on in the households, unpaid, and the men take on in the households. And to turn that, yes, we are looking at unpaid care work in terms of, first of all, changing the mindsets of people is important, but also policy measures are important,
Yes.
Bangladesh has, of course, maternity leave policy.
Exactly.
That needs to be better implemented, of course. But there are also companies that are, not just companies, countries that have introduced paternity leave or childcare leave, which could be taken by both men and women. And the men's engagement in childcare is then going to be able to release the time of women to engage in productive work. So that's needed. And that's, again, a policy step that the country needs to take so that there is that space created for men to engage in childcare.
Right.
Yeah.
But if there is no policy in place on paternity leave right now, but can the development sector agencies who are working on this, can they start off, can they set examples themselves so that policies happen?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there are some examples in Bangladesh, some multinational companies that actually do adopt paternity leave. The UN has a paternity leave policy, and that is worldwide applied. So, our colleague that just had a baby in the office, a male colleague, I think he's entitled to paternity leave, and we've been encouraging him to take that time off to be with the baby.
We should do a story on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But in regards to behavior change, you were talking about mindsets and how that needs to be changed. And when in a country like Bangladesh, where that's so embedded in our system, where it is women who take on household work, childcare, looking after elders, etc., do you have examples of other countries where it's worked and how exactly it worked? Like, how does the behavior change process happen?
I think, for example, Japan is not a great country in that sphere, but it does have a government push towards getting men to engage more. So it did introduce a paternity leave policy, and it is encouraging, they are running campaigns on trying to portray men in this child-caring roles.
Sweden is also doing a lot.
Sure, yeah. There's been photo contests in Sweden around those issues,
Yeah.
and by actually showing these images of men engaging in childcare, that gradually shifts people's mindsets. But again, it has to go hand in hand with policy measures. It's not just, changing the behavior of people. That comes with when there is a policy in place that makes it okay and acceptable and legal for men to take that time off to be with their family and their children. And Sweden's actually the front runner when it comes to those things.
In terms of policies related to gender equality, steps that UN Women is taking right now, are there any particularly to name?
You mean policy advocacy that we're doing?
Yes.
Policy advocacy work-wise, we're trying to work with civil society to, this doesn't relate to HeForShe, but to advocate more on proper implementation of these High Court directives on sexual harassment.
Yeah.
And if possible, to have that turned into a law. And again, in these spheres, the male support voice is much needed, because I think sexual harassment is often brushed away as women being hypersensitive and not sort of a valid claim that we are making. But it is real, the fear that it instills on women to walk the streets, to be doing the activities that they should be able to do, run their normal lives. It does turn when they are sexually harassed. And so that leads to them not being able to participate in the society and contribute to the society. So we do have to change this.
Right. This just reminds me, we were having a conversation earlier about the Me Too movement and how it's made so much mark worldwide. There's so much discussion going on still. But in Bangladesh, I mean, the level, there are discussions around that, but the level of participation in that regard, I think, is quite small. So when you talk about women being sensitive about opening up to these issues, I think the barrier is still so strong in Bangladesh that people don't really come out and speak about it.
And we need the others to say, I believe you. When people do speak up, there needs to be that support from others saying, yes, I really believe you.
So that relates to our 16 Days of Activism campaign as well, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
So the 16 Days of Activism coming up, November 25th is the International Day to End Violence Against Women. And from there to December 10th, which is Human Rights Day, is globally known as the 16 Days of Activism to End Gender-Based Violence. And this is something that the United Nations is now pushing every year as part of the UN Secretary General's campaign, Unite to End Violence Against Women. This year, the theme is Hear Me Too, #HearMeToo. So it's a takeoff on the Me Too movement. Let us listen to the voices of the survivors. Let us echo the stories of the survivors, and particularly those that don't get heard enough. I think the violation of rights that sex workers face, the particular kind of discrimination that disabled women face, the challenges that young people face that are not quite understood. Also, indigenous women, Dalit women. I think there are many pockets of the society where they are further discriminated than sort of the urban-centered population.
Yes. And also, 16 Days of Activism, if I'm not mistaken, brings in youth into the picture and how they can contribute, right? So what role do you think the youth can play in this regard to end violence against women, to stand up for ending all kinds of discrimination?
I think young people can do many things. I think right now the social media space is a very vibrant space that the young people occupy. So they could be also be posting, visit our social media space. UN Women has a Facebook. We'll be actively posting messages for the 16 days. Repost it. Speak up what you think about those messages that will be spreading out. And also, I think there's campaigns that you could be running in universities, debates, competitions. We've sponsored some debate competitions on these issues. Be active and be mindful. I think really try and educate yourself in this moment that we have.
Right, and for coming back to HeForShe, in the years to follow, do you have specific plans, or do we have specific plans that we want to carry out?
Yeah, so we want to expand the network of young people that will be part of our HeForShe movement. We also want to engage with private sector companies in Bangladesh and see how HeForShe could be a useful vehicle for companies also to demonstrate that they are committed to gender equality and ending discrimination against women. We want to reach the other segments, the policymakers. We're looking for a HeForShe champion out there amongst the policymakers. If you have any suggestions, let us know. And letting people know more and more about HeForShe, because it's really, as I said, it's not prescriptive. It's not for UN Women to run this campaign and this movement, but it's something I hope that it inspires you to do something differently, each one of you out there.
Right. I was also thinking...
Lovely. Samara, how about we take a short commercial break?
Yes.
Just a tiny little one. 30 seconds. Barely a minute. All right? We'll be back. Listeners, শুনছি রেডিও স্বাধীন 92.4 FM. চলছে বোম্বাস্টিক এবং আমার সাথে স্পেশাল দুজন গেস্ট রয়েছেন। তাদের সাথে আমরা আমাদের আড্ডা আলোচনা কন্টিনিউ করব। But after we're back from this very short commercial break থেকে ফিরে এসেই this session is going to go on for just a bit longer. So if you don't want to miss out on the last bit, stay with me. Stay tuned to 92.4 FM. শুনতে থাকুন রেডিও স্বাধীন। শুনছেন রেডিও স্বাধীন 92.4 FM, চলছে বোম্বাস্টিক। সাজিদা রয়েছি, সাথে রয়েছেন শোকো ইশিকাওয়া। Yes, I said it this time. I did it. Did you hear that?
Yes,
did you hear that?
fantastic.
Yes, I did it. I didn't stammer. I didn't stutter. I said it. Take that, Just Samara. I'm an empowered woman. I'm so happy. You just made my day. I'm going to be so proud of myself for the rest of the day.
You can be an honorary Japanese citizen.
Are you serious? I love Japanese horror. Nothing's scarier than Japanese horror.
I thought you were going to say food, and then you said horror.
Nobody knows how to, trigger that sense of fear. I mean, that adrenaline rush from fear, like the Japanese do. Oh my God, I just love you guys. You guys are awesome.
Thank you. Love you guys too.
All right. কথা বলছিলাম আমরা উইমেন্স এম্পাওয়ারমেন্ট নিয়ে। HeForShe ক্যাম্পেইনের যে বিশেষ একটি অংশ হিসেবে আমাদের এসে রাইটিং কম্পিটিশন চলছে। অনেকেই সেই কম্পিটিশনের ডিটেইলস জানতে চাইছিলেন। ওয়েল, ডিটেইলসগুলো যদি জানতে চান, ব্যাপারটা আপনি সিম্পল করে বলে দিই। একটা স্টোরি আছে দুই ভাই বোনের। স্টোরির ফার্স্ট হাফ আপনাকে আমি বলে দেবো, বাকিটা আপনাকে কমপ্লিট করতে হবে। বাকিটা আপনি যদি কমপ্লিট করতে চান, সেক্ষেত্রে ফার্স্ট হাফটা মনোযোগ দিয়ে শুনতে হবে। সো কেয়ারফুলি শুনে রাখুন। রেহান এবং জুলি, তারা দুই ভাই বোন। ছোটবেলা থেকেই তারা একসাথে সব কিছু করে আসছে, কিন্তু বড় হবার পর রেহানের ইঞ্জিনিয়ার হবার ইচ্ছা খুশি মনে মেনে নিলেও জুলির পাইলট হবার স্বপ্ন পূরণে বাধা দেয় পরিবার। সে সময় প্রিয় ভাই রেহান এসে জুলির পাশে দাঁড়ায় এবং তাকে সহযোগিতা করতে চায়। এখন রেহান কিভাবে জুলিকে সহযোগিতা করতে পারে সেই কথাগুলোই বলতে হবে আপনাকে। ইউএন উইমেনের সহযোগিতায় রেডিও স্বাধীন আয়োজন করেছে রচনা লিখবার প্রতিযোগিতা 2018 সাল। সর্বোচ্চ 1200 শব্দের মধ্যে আপনিও লিখে পাঠান কিভাবে ও কী উপায়ে জুলির পাইলট হবার স্বপ্ন বাস্তবে রূপ নেবে। bit.ly/UNWomenSA2018. If it's too complicated, I'll spell it out for you. bit/ly/UNWOMENESSAY2018. এই লিঙ্কে গিয়ে প্রথমে ফর্ম পূরণ করুন। এরপর আপনার লেখা রচনা সংযুক্ত করে পাঠিয়ে দিন এবং পুরস্কার হিসেবে 50,000 টাকা জিতে নিন। বাংলা অথবা ইংরেজি দুই ভাষাতেই রচনা লিখতে পারবেন। মনে রাখতে হবে এই প্রতিযোগিতা শুধুমাত্রই ছেলেদের জন্য। ইয়াপ, ইটস টাইম ফর ইউ মেন, ইউ গাইজ টু স্টেপ আপ। আরও জানতে ভিজিট করুন রেডিও স্বাধীনের অফিসিয়াল ফেসবুক ফ্যান পেজ, অথবা আগামী 5 মিনিট ডেডিকেটেডলি শোকো, আমি, সামারা আমরা কথা বলছি। আমাদের সাথে পার্টিসিপেট করলে আই গেস ইউল গেট টু ফাইন্ড আউট আ লট মোর অ্যাবাউট দিস। Alright, something I was personally curious about. Shoko, I mean, I really wanted to know this whole essay that we are writing. It's the story of a brother and a sister, and how a brother can, he can, I wouldn't say raise a voice, but I would say add a voice, because the girl already has one of her own. Add a voice and create a stronger statement about the choices of her life and the path she wants to take. Do you really think that it's a problem that is that's triggered by or manifested from social structure? Because, like you said, globally, more or less, the picture is on a global scale. It's not just Bangladesh. There are some countries where they have a harder time, some that have lesser so. So, is it something that is structured by society, this whole discrimination, or is it? Where do you think the whole problem of the root of the problem is?
The root of the problem is what's called patriarchy. It's the male-centered mindset of that is dominating. It's not. It's a social. It dominates the social system, the social norms, but it also trickles into policy. It becomes policy also. Who's making decision on the policies, and so it's not just our behaviors and mindsets, but it infiltrates how the government works, how our social services work. It
Right.
becomes that. And so we need to change that. And some countries are doing better with that, with more women in the policy making, in women in management, with more diverse voices. That's what we need. It's not binary, yeah? It's not just men and women. It's about diversity of the voices.
Right.
And that doesn't exist in many countries yet. Where the men are the dominating forces.
All right, Shoko, Samara, it was lovely having you guys here, but unfortunately my life for 8 hours every day is run on a countdown, and the timer starts ticking, and we're honestly literally almost out of time. So before you guys leave, I mean, I hate to have to say goodbye to you, but all good things must come to an end, I guess. But empowerment won't. I guess that's a place, although seems like a fairy tale, but I guess it will be a happily ever after, somewhere down the line.
Yeah.
So what note would you like to leave this at?
I think we continue this journey, We have to do it together, and that's the message, together. It's not just men, it's not just women, it's for us all to take the responsibility and work together on this.
Anything you have to say for our male listeners listening to us right now, despising us for having such loud voices being broadcasted over here? How dare she talks?
No, you're one of us. We're all together. That's the thing, It's not me and you.
See, there you go. You guys are the mean kind. She's being so nice about the whole thing. You guys are the ones dominating. You guys are the ones making the rules, breaking them, putting chains on us. You're lovely. You know how to play your part so gracefully. It's like you're living it every day.
Is that you being sarcastic?
No, I actually mean it. I'm a woman. You don't... Samara?
I am meant to be dominated.
I actually, honestly, we don't want to pitch,